Welcome to the Explainer. So, today we're tackling one of the most fundamental questions in modern business, and honestly, in life. Why do some organizations, or heck, even individuals, cross that magical threshold to achieve sustained, exceptional greatness, while the vast majority just kind of remain trapped in mediocrity or slowly fade away? It's a question that bothers pretty much anyone striving for excellence. Well, today, we're breaking down Jim Collins's groundbreaking work to give you the exact architectural blueprint for greatness.
Okay, let's dive into this. The entire foundation of this research begins with a startlingly simple yet incredibly profound observation. Good is the enemy of great. Think about it for a second. When a company or a person achieves a respectable level of success, maybe you earn solid revenues, you have a decent market share, or you just maintain a comfortable, stable life, complacency quietly sets in. We stop asking the hard questions because being good feels, well, sufficient. There's no burning platform forcing you to change. And that right there, that is the exact trap that prevents true greatness.
And listen, we know this isn't just some abstract theory. The research team actually spent 5 rigorous years on an empirical study. They didn't just guess, they analyzed decades of financial data, combed through corporate histories, and conducted deep executive interviews to find the hidden, undeniable patterns of transformation. This is data-driven reality. So, here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover 1, the trap of being good. 2, first, the right people. 3, second, the right thinking. 4, third, the right actions. 5, the unstoppable flywheel. And finally, 6, making your personal leap. Let's get right to it. Part 1, the trap of being good. As we just touched on, society is absolutely filled with good schools, good products, and good lives. To escape the gravity of average, you literally have to cultivate a deep intolerance for just being good. Moving to part 2, first, the right people. And wow, the data on disciplined people absolutely shatters conventional business wisdom. I want you to ask yourself, what actually comes first, the vision or the team? Consider the typical corporate playbook for a minute. Usually, leaders establish a grand strategy. They set a dynamic vision, and then they go out and hire people to execute it, right? I mean, that's what we've all been told is the smart way to operate. And this brilliantly illustrates a massive reality check. Successful transformers reverse that sequence entirely. Their motto is, first who, then what? I mean, how many times have we seen the grand strategy first method crash and burn in the real world? You must get the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and the right people in the right seats before you decide where to drive it. Why? Because in an unpredictable world, if you hire for a specific strategy and the market changes, you're stuck with a team built for a reality that no longer exists. But if you recruit highly adaptable, self-motivated people, your team can pivot and succeed literally no matter what the future holds. So who is actually driving this bus? The researchers initially assumed great turnarounds were led by larger-than-life, high-profile CEOs with massive egos. The data proved the exact opposite. Every single great company was led by what Collins defines as a level 5 leader. These are people possessing a powerful, paradoxical blend of personal humility and fierce, uncompromising professional will. They're modest, they're self-effacing, but beneath that exterior is a ruthless, unstoppable drive to build an enduring organization. They care absolutely about performance, not personal prestige. You can spot a level 5 leader really clearly through their window and mirror behavior. When things go incredibly well, a level 5 leader looks out the window, attributing the victory to their team, to external factors, or honestly, even just good luck. But when things go wrong, they look right in the mirror. They accept full personal responsibility. Average comparison leaders do the exact opposite. They selfishly look in the mirror to take all the credit for the wins and immediately point out the window to blame the market or their team for the setbacks. All right, part 3, second, the right thinking. It's time to confront some harsh realities to find deep strategic clarity. This brings us to a crucial, incredibly resilient psychological mindset called the Stockdale Paradox. It's named after Admiral James Stockdale, who survived years of brutal torture as a prisoner of war during the Vietnam conflict. How did he survive when so many others just gave up? He retained absolute faith that he would prevail in the end, while simultaneously confronting the most brutal facts of his current reality. This wasn't about wearing rose-colored glasses, it was about survival. Great companies do exactly this. They don't hide behind optimistic propaganda. They don't sugarcoat a bad quarter. They uncover the truth and analyze root causes directly, no matter how much it hurts. Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast in outcomes. Stockdale actually noted that the extreme optimists in the camp were the first to break. They relied on false hope, convincing themselves they'd be freed by Christmas, then Easter, and when those deadlines inevitably passed, the cumulative disappointment just crushed their spirits entirely. The ruthless realists, however, paired unwavering long-term optimism with a strict confrontation of daily facts. That is the exact approach organizations need to navigate severe crises and emerge stronger. So, with the right people confronting those brutal facts, how do you actually find your focus? Well, you have to ask yourself, what is your hedgehog concept? This idea comes from an ancient Greek fable. The fox knows many small, clever tricks, but is scattered and easily distracted. The hedgehog, on the other hand, knows one big, crucial thing. It simplifies a highly complex world into a single, elegant guiding principle that protects it from all threats. To find your organization's hedgehog concept, you must find the deep intersection of these three specific circles. First, what can you be the absolute best in the world at? And honestly, what can you not be the best at? Second, what drives your economic engine? What single key financial metric sustains your long-term cash flow? And third, what are you deeply passionate about? Because let's face it, cold financial calculations alone cannot sustain the intense effort required over many years. When an organization finds the sweet spot where these three circles intersect, it gains immense strategic clarity. It stops chasing every shiny object and eliminates all non-essential distractions. Moving on to part 4, third, the right actions. Here is where disciplined people and disciplined thought finally execute. You see, a true culture of discipline creates operational freedom within strict boundary lines. When you have self-motivated people taking personal ownership of their responsibilities, it completely negates the need for dense, oppressive corporate bureaucracy. You just don't need endless administrative oversight. This discipline also allows organizations to maintain strict stop-doing lists. Instead of managers creating endless to-do lists and adding new initiatives, disciplined companies systematically eliminate activities that do not directly support their hedgehog concept. And this disciplined action extends to how they handle new tools. Failing companies frequently fall into the FOMO trap, the fear of missing out. They treat new technology as a magic bullet to drive success, throwing expensive software at a broken business model, hoping for a magic fix. But great companies, they use technology only as an accelerator. They never use it to create momentum from scratch. They carefully evaluate if a tool aligns with their hedgehog concept. If it does, they become pioneers in using it to amplify their momentum. If it doesn't fit, they completely ignore the hype. Part 5, the unstoppable flywheel effect. This is where all these elements synthesize into incredible compounding momentum. Let's move to and see how this builds. Visualize this for a second. The flywheel effect is a quiet, consistent process of pushing in a consistent direction. Imagine a giant, heavy metal flywheel mounted horizontally on an axle, weighing thousands of pounds. To get it moving, you have to push against it with immense effort, and at first, after hours of hard work, it barely moves an inch. First, you apply consistent pushes in one direction. Slowly, almost painfully, it completes one turn. You don't change your stance, you keep pushing. 2 turns, 4 turns, then 10, then 100. You accumulate massive weight and structural momentum over time, and then the flywheel begins turning faster and faster. Its own momentum carries it forward with incredible speed and power. From the outside, media coverage might call it an overnight miracle. They only see the blur of the wheel spinning. But you know the truth, right? There was no single dramatic event, no lucky break. It was the cumulative result of every single push applied consistently over time. Now, starkly contrast that incredible momentum with the absolute peril of the doom loop. Sound familiar? Every single sudden pivot stops whatever momentum they had cold. Instead of pushing consistently, failing companies react to poor performance by constantly changing directions. They launch a new management fad, then a disruptive reorganization, then a sudden mega acquisition. It forces them to restart pushing that massive wheel from a complete standstill, leading directly to chronic instability and eventual collapse. Finally, part 6, making your personal leap. Because the journey to personal excellence perfectly mirrors the journey of a great enterprise. So the crucial point is how you can apply this today to build lasting mastery. First, adopt that level 5 accountability, take full ownership of your decisions and your setbacks while remaining humble. Second, confront your personal brutal facts. Conduct honest assessments of your skills and weak points without self-deception. Actually, scratch that. Don't just assess them, own them. Third, discover your personal hedgehog concept. Find the exact intersection of your unique talents, your deep passions, and practical financial viability. And finally, push your daily flywheel with relentless, disciplined habits. Which leaves us with one final, truly vital question. Are you settling for a good life, or are you ready to start pushing your flywheel toward a great one? Remember, good is the enemy of great. Real mastery doesn't happen through dramatic shortcuts. It happens through those small, disciplined, daily pushes. Take these principles, map out your blueprint, and start pushing. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see the momentum you build.